Welcome to Walktober and the Last Green Valley with Chief Ranger Bill Reed
and Lead Ranger Marcy Dolly. And we're very excited to be celebrating the 25th, yes, the 25th Walktober with you. Now, Chief Ranger Bill, let's clarify, what exactly is Walktober and what is the Last Green Valley?
The Last Green Valley is a place with 35 towns. It's in northeast Connecticut and south central Massachusetts. And it is still 77% forest and farmlands.
And the Last Green Valley Incorporated is a wonderful organization, nonprofit, member supported. And what we do is work very hard with so many people and groups to help us all care for, enjoy, and pass on this very special region.
And Walktober is a month-long program that offers you a chance to visit familiar places or introduce to you eye-opening and brand new experiences and discoveries in the National Heritage Corridor.
We certainly couldn't do it without our passionate and knowledgeable leaders. These volunteer leaders this year have stepped up to bring us over 200 choices. There are guided walks, paddles, bike rides, events, tours, and so much more.
So let's meet some of the walk leaders and see what's going on during Walktober in the Last Green Valley National Heritage Corridor.
I can't wait. And remember, keep up to date on our website, which is thelastgreenvalley.org, and on our Facebook page. And we do have a question. We want to know, do you Walktober? So Chief Ranger Bill, who is our first guest?
Well, let's see.
Get one of our guidebooks and more information on Walktober 2015 from the Last Green Valley's website at TLGV.org.
Hi, and welcome to the Walktober program. Walktober is a great program that we put on the Last Green Valley each October, and it's kind of spilling out over the month. And we brought in a great friend of the Last Green Valley today. Meet my friend, Earl Rosebrooks, president of PBA, which is Putnam Business Association. He wears a lot of hats, but that's the hat he has on today. The reason Earl is here is Putnam has really come together this year for Walktober. They took a program they've been doing for years, an event called the Great Pumpkin Fest. And they've built a whole bunch of Walktober opportunities around this one day. And it's really a great reason to get to Putnam, to discover Putnam. And then once you discover Putnam and all it has to offer, we hope that you come back to Putnam. It's one of our 35 towns in the Last Green Valley. So I'll talk a little bit about some of the Walktobers that are going to be offered, but let's start out with Earl and see exactly how the Great Pumpkin Fest got started and what that's all about.
Thank you, Marcy. It's nice to be here. The Great Pumpkin Festival is just a great day of coming to Putnam. It's a harvest festival. We have a train come in. They can check out the foliage. There's food. There's arts and crafts. There's music. There's a pumpkin pie eating contest. There's all kinds of great things that happen.
And there's actually a great pumpkin and a couple of great pumpkins. They're about 1,200 pounds, I think, usually.
So there was a couple of large ones last year. I remember. Yeah.
So we have this great event and a great venue, beautiful time of year. And so Putnam said, well, let's just do a little bit more and let's offer a few other options and show people what else is in this town when they come to this day. They can make a day of it. So we're going to start out the morning, and it's going to start pretty early in the a.m.
10 a.m., I believe.
Yep, that's when the Pumpkin Fest starts. Health Quest, which is a great partner, they're going to have a pumpkin parade, and it's going to go right along the river trail, which is great. And they're going to have some characters in that. I don't want to let out of the bag what it is, but that starts even before the actual Pumpkin Fest. That starts at 8:45.
Oh, my.
It's great. The Congregational Church of Putnam, which is right on Main Street, they're going to open up for the day and they're going to serve lunch, and they're also going to offer bag lunches for the people that go on the train ride, which is nice. That's something you have to set up ahead of time, so check the Walktober brochure for that information. A really cool one that the library stepped up to do. Library is going to do Walk in Gertrude Chandler Warner's Footsteps, and she was a really interesting person that came right from Putnam. She was born there. She was a teacher there. She wrote children's books, the boxcar children's books. And there's a museum there, and it's in a boxcar. So the museum will be open. You can certainly go into the museum, but the librarians are going to take you, a perfect theme for them, and they're going to walk past the house that Gertrude was born in. They're going to walk past the house that Gertrude lived in later in life, and they're going to walk to the cemetery where Gertrude is now in rest. And so that's a really cool one. That's going to be at noontime. The Putnam Business Association themselves, they're going to do they're going to repeat the same walk. It's called Do You Know? And Did You Know? And you're going to experience just a few fun facts about Putnam, like Aunt Jemima actually visited Putnam. Did you know that?
She make pancakes while she was there?
She might have.
I did not know that.
I hope she was real maple syrup.
I would think so.
I'm sure she did.
She had to.
And did you know that the Bradley Playhouse, which is another one of our good partners,
You bet.
they have a ghost?
To do.
So that,
Really?
So that's the only 2 teasers you're going to get. You're going to have to show up for that walk. It's offered at 12:30 and 2, and they're going to meet at the library to begin that walk. So that's pretty awesome. Now in the afternoon, we're going to have the Historical Society at 1 p.m. is going to do Putnam River Trails Mill and Rail History. And just like some former guests have said, a lot of mill towns in the Last Green Valley. We've got the rivers, we put the rails in beside them. Naturally, we're going to have some mills. Okay, so that's going to be a real historical look at it. You might hear something about the flood of '55, which was devastating to that area in that walk. Putnam doesn't stop on this one day. Putnam goes year-round, and they give you a lot of chances to come and discover Putnam.
We want you to come down and see Putnam. Absolutely.
Absolutely. There's plenty to do there. So after this ends and after Walktober ends, Santa Claus arrives each year on a fire truck.
Really?
It's great.
On a fire truck?
Yes.
Pulled by reindeer? Or
well,
just
the reindeer are resting up. They're not quite in good shape.
Oh, it's not quite Christmas yet?
No.
Okay.
He's just going to come for a visit. The Holiday Dazzle Light Parade, which is something the Last Green Valley participates in, we love it. We did get stuck behind another one of your friends, the Ark Duck, one year.
Oh, did you?
And the kids were cheering and the crowd was cheering, and I thought, oh my gosh, they're cheering for the Last Green Valley. They were cheering for that Ark Duck. That's okay. We could take some of the backsplash.
It's a great parade the day after, or the weekend of Thanksgiving is what it is.
It's the Sunday after Thanksgiving.
Yep.
Hundreds of floats, right?
Hundreds of floats, thousands of people, kids line the street. It's a great event. It's a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun.
If you haven't been to it, definitely want to check it out with the family.
Absolutely. Sure. And then, you know, in the middle of the wintertime, people sometimes get a little ho-hum. We have Fire and Ice in Putnam, which is a really great festival.
It is. It's the largest ice festival in the country. We have right in Putnam. Yeah. We had over 30 sculptures last year. Some made by professionals, some done by amateurs. Right then and there, they carve right in front of you.
They were carving right in front of you, and it was perfect weather for it. Remember,
it was very icy.
The snow came in, and of course, last winter, it was balmy last winter.
We had a good amount of snow.
Yeah, no, I was joking. But I was at that, and that was a phenomenal event. And we came downtown, and we looked at all the sculptures, and then we had dinner at one of the restaurants. And the fire is they had this person
Electra, the fire
fire dancer.
And she's already contracted to come back for us, so we'll have her again.
It was mesmerizing, and when she started dancing, it started snowing, which was kind of interesting. But she held onto the baton, which was, of course, a flame. But that's a great event. And
she was a trooper that night.
Another example of what Putnam has been doing, really over the last several years, to really get people to come down and enjoy. The business owners are certainly benefiting from it. The residents are benefiting from it. And I live in Putnam now, and so does Marcy. She's the Putnam maniac, and I'm kind of the sidekick, I guess. But there's something that happened in Putnam between the business association, the merchants downtown,
the rec
department,
everybody
the manager,
works together.
the mayor, the council, the great cheerleader in Gary and Karen Osprey and all that they've done. And there's just this great sense of spirit that's occurred in that town. Last year was second place in Connecticut favorite town?
Second place 2 years in a row.
2 years in a row. Well, this year we're shooting for first.
We always are. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
It is a great partnership with the rec department, the business owners.
Right.
You know, it's the town puts on some events, and we put on events, but we equally, publicize each other's events.
Right.
Just because it's good for everybody.
Yes.
It's good for all the businesses, no matter if it's a Putnam Business Association festival, or it's a Last Green Valley Festival, it's a town rec, such as they have the cars that come in, the Great Car Show every year.
Oh, it's amazing.
And then they have River Fire a couple times a year. So
phenomenal.
It's just a good way to get people out and about and come down and see what we have to offer.
Right. And I would be remiss in not also mentioning the Putnam Police Department and Fire Department and the constables that do so much with the parking and helping to make sure everybody stays safe.
It's definitely an example of collaboration and how collaboration works. Instead of fighting each other, they collaborate and they couldn't do it by themselves. You couldn't do everything. They need the help to do it, and they do it. And it's a shining example in the last Green Valley of how to do it.
And Walktober, boy, this is the 25th anniversary of Walktober. It was a few years ago that one city had so many Walktober events we had to list them separately. We couldn't fit them on the map. That was Norwich. Now we've got Putnam. Now we've got Willimantic. And so we're really seeing some great oomph going on behind the opportunity for people to come to Putnam and the other towns and really learn about the history. And certainly vendors will enjoy and merchants will enjoy having visitors come to the community. There's so much rich history in Putnam, and we're so glad to know that you guys are putting all this stuff on for us.
Well, thank you so much. Thanks for having me. And this is, it's fantastic what you guys are doing as well.
We enjoy attending First Friday throughout the summer. It's a great way for us to reach many people and tell them about the last Green Valley. And we always say, Walktober is a great way to start exploring the last Green Valley. We want people to keep exploring all year long. And I know the Putnam Business Association, their motto is really discover Putnam. And that's the same thing. You want them to discover this and keep with you and explore all year long.
We'd love to have them discover our website, discoverputnam.com. Go check it out. A lot of stuff going on.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Earl.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Appreciate it.
And we'll be right
Marcy,
back.
thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Get one of our guidebooks and more information on Walktober 2015 from the Last Green Valley's website at TLGV.org.
Hi, and welcome back to the Walktober Show. We've got a delightful guest here. We've got Regan Miner, and she's from the Norwich Historical Society, as well as the Norwich Regional and Visitor Center. And Walktober in Norwich is just a special thing. It's like a whole little world of its own down there. They have worked together these past few years to bring us so many Walktobers. This year they have 38 unique opportunities, and many of them are repeated. And what they have really done is become the model for towns to work together in Walktober. They put together days, so you can go down to Norwich and spend the entire day down there, which is fabulous. You get to learn a lot of the history, which is very rich in history down there. You get to have some fun, you get to enjoy the natural resources, and hopefully you stay for that day, and then you return and do some of these things on your own throughout the whole year. Regan has worked very, very hard in Norwich, and we really are grateful in the Last Green Valley for what she has done, because she's really brought such life and vitality to that area. So Regan, what are some of the things that you really would like to let us know about out of all those 38? What are some of the real highlights?
Well, we have so many varieties of walks, and not even just walks, we even have certain events. For example, we have the Project Oceanology boat coming from Groton, Connecticut, and they're doing a Thames River estuary study later in the month of October. So that's very unique. It's great for kids. I know last year the whole boat was filled with kids, and they really enjoyed the physical experience of being able to touch certain fish that were in the river and learn about the Thames River itself. So that's one really interesting not even walk per se, just a very cool event that's a part of Walktober.
And connecting the people to the natural resources
Exactly,
is fabulous.
exactly.
Now, do people need to sign up for that one in particular?
Yep, registration's required. If you just call NCDC, Norwich Community Development Corporation, they have a sign-up list, and get your name on the list. And they sign up quickly, so so get your call in.
And all that info is in the Walktober brochure.
Absolutely.
Yes, it is.
Absolutely. And what you folks probably can't see is Regan is in attire today. She's in a costume because she leads a lot of walks herself, not only during Walktober but year long. And last year I went to one through the cemetery at night, and it was packed. And Regan was in costume, and that was really awesome. That we have this little gal dressed up in her costume, and she had the megaphone, and we went through the cemetery. And personally, I went back to that cemetery during the daytime because I wanted to really see everything I couldn't see. Although the atmosphere was great at night, I wanted to go back and really study.
There are some very special people that are there in the Norwich Town Burial Ground. Why don't you tell us about a couple of the folks that are there?
Yeah, well, Marcy's point, we are having that ghost walk again, October 30th at 6 o'clock. I'm giving that tour again in addition to 2 other guides. Last year we were a little overwhelmed by 105 people. We were not expecting that large of a turnout, so this year we're trying to be more prepared and have multiple guides going at once. Some people that are buried in the cemetery are Samuel Huntington. I'm sure folks in Scotland and Norwich are very much aware of Samuel Huntington. He was, as of this past summer, officially recognized as the first president of the United States under the Continental Congress. So that's pretty exciting. He's buried there. He has a beautiful tomb that's been recently restored. Another person who I find most interesting is a lady by the name of Hannah Arnold. And for those of you who do not know who Hannah Arnold is, she is the mother of General Benedict Arnold, infamous traitor to the country. And Benedict Arnold was born in Norwich. So we have a tour focusing on his childhood in Norwich. We're not celebrating or saying that we agree with his actions in the Revolutionary War, but our story, our part of the story is telling about where he grew up in town. You'll get to see where his mother's buried. You'll get to see where he lived for part of his life. So that's our part of the story that we're telling. We're not celebrating that he was a traitor. We're just talking about his childhood, before he was even a general.
And it's really great to see the history in the last Green Valley, and it makes you wonder, maybe 100 years from now, are they going to be talking about Chief Ranger Bill? Are they going to be talking about Regan Minor? And they're going to say, wow, look what they did. Yeah. You never know. You never know.
I hope I'm not considered the traitor. So I don't want Reed becoming the different word for Benedict Arnold.
So what else?
Huntington is an interesting character.
Yes.
I've always been fascinated by him. He was a member of the Continental Congress and was very well respected by his peers, and so he continued to be elected as the president of the Continental Congress. And the reason why he's recognized as the first president, he was president of the Continental Congress right when the Articles of Confederation were established. And this was before Washington was president. And so in many ways, he's really sort of our first chief executive,
yes,
so to speak.
Exactly. He was a signer of the Declaration of Independence as well.
Right.
So he was kind of a big deal here in this area for the Revolution.
And Norwich is so rich in history. It was a very important, large town during that era, wasn't it?
The best thing about Norwich is we have rich history from the 17th to the 20th century. We have rich Native American history, rich 18th century Revolutionary colonial history, rich Civil War, abolitionists, millionaires, Victorian history. I mean, we just have fantastic history, and our mill history is wonderful. We have Panema Mills in town. It's the second largest mill in the country, and we're working on, we have a tour of Panema Mills, and this may be the last time we get to go in the Panema Mills because it's being restored as condos and apartments this coming fall. So we're getting special access to be able to look in one last time to see what it looked like now and in the future.
The Millionaire's Triangle is one of the walks, and
Yes.
when I drive that, I will admit, Norwich Police Department, that I might almost crash every time I drive through there because it's beautiful. It's
Yes.
beautiful, and so to take that tour is another great one. I really enjoy that one. Now, there's also a museum right there. Norwich
Yes.
Free Academy has the Slater Memorial Museum right there.
Exactly.
And they're celebrating as well in Walktober, so we have
Yes.
so many choices in Walktober.
Norwich has really done a good job of bringing all nonprofits, even churches, even the city of Norwich together to coordinate all these tours. And Slater Memorial Museum is doing a couple tours. We have a church tour in Greenville, which is very interesting. You would never believe that there's so many churches in one small area, but there are, and that's a fun tour as well. And another really cool thing we have is Wally Lamb, famous author, is from Norwich, and he's giving a tour called Wally Lamb's Norwich. Wally Lamb himself, the author, will be giving a tour in Norwich. And last year, that was one of the most popular walks, of course, and this year we're expecting it to be just as popular.
Absolutely.
Well, in previous episodes of this show, I talked about rivers and paddling, and certainly we know that in Norwich is